Hello and welcome back to our channel where we speak all about futures analysis, technical analysis, the psychology part of it, and the importance of understanding, key type of analysis to make amazing trades. And you know what? On this video also, I want to make sure that I share with you something that I went through, experiences that I went through in the last week. So this way, you will be able to make sure that you prevent that from that happening to you. Okay, so today what we will be analyzing will be NVIDIA, okay, and we will also analyze on this video the NASDAQ because they go correlation to each other. Okay, so I will start sharing my screen, and as we do the analysis, I will speak to you about the different things that I learned over the last couple of days. Wow, look at this amazing spiked up. So basically what happened, I yesterday was trading NVIDIA as well. Not so much based on analysis, but more of like, okay, you know what, NVIDIA been going up, so let's just take a trade long. Oops, let's just take a trade long, right? So that's what I did, and I actually started to be profitable. And then I decided, you know what, let me go ahead and like step out of the position. And what happened, I actually was not able to step out of the position. Now I was thinking why that happens. I have an account that I started no long ago. It's a new account, and this account is basically based on less than $25,000, and I know that for options you need $25,000 as a minimum on this account. However, I didn't know that you will need that for the stocks. So I was actually not having a plan. I was in a trade and I couldn't close the trade. So I called quickly Interactive Brokers, and I told them that I need them immediately to override that and close my position, which they did. I closed it for a loss. But what's more important, it's that you don't let those losses affect you. Like, yeah, for sure, a lot of people say the psychological part and whatnot. It is important, but it's not something that will be everything in the trading. More important than that, it will be your edge, because once you have your edge, then you can start scaling up. Okay, you can start scaling up, and you can start then focusing on your psychological part and saying, oh my god, if all of a sudden I'm following my edge and I'm losing like I don't know, $1,000, and that $1,000 is a big deal, then you don't want that to be affecting you. Think about the next 1,000 trades, 500 trades that you are looking at, and follow your system. So then psychologically you're not going to start chasing and doing things that are not relevant. Okay, so it's important, because what happened overall, I have very good trades, and yet what happened when I'm trading not based on my system and my edge, I'm losing money. And what happened, why that happened, is because I'm looking at the chart and I already see more or less where it will go. And many times when I take scalping trades, I actually do have profits. But then what happened, I'm like, okay, great, so I do have profits, let's just take another scalp and another scalp. And what happened, the day ending up to be not as positive, or somewhat on the red. So then it's messing up with you, and you think, okay, do I want to take more trades now or not? Now, for me, from my perspective, it's important for me that at the end of the day, you have to understand that you are versus you. Number one, you are the owner of your own business, and that's your own business. Okay, it's important to have the discipline. So even my mentor and friend that works in the Manhattan, and in a massive firm, we had the lunch, like dinner-ish, last week. And actually it was this week, and I was asking him, hey, like, he was telling me about the risk management, and he was telling me about risk to reward, and how he is managing his risk, and what, you know, I asked him, what would be the one thing that you wish you knew back then that you know now? And he said, really, it's very simple. It's the risk management system. And I was like, is it a computer software? Like, what are you talking about? What is it? You know, because I didn't understand what he means by that. So he was telling me that, you know, how on some trades, you know, let's say an example, you have 20 confirmations, 15 confirmations, 9 confirmations, you know, those numbers that are actually appearing in some trades as confirmations. So he says, you know, if I have, let's say an example, on this trade, more confirmations, so I know that for sure it will go up, right? So what I would do, I would still do 2 to 5 risk to reward, 2 to 3 risk to reward, but it's very easy to, you know, scale in the trading world. So all you have to do, instead of enter here 10 lots, enter 50 lots. Okay. So then what happened? You know, your risk becomes much larger. Okay. Because you have much more lots in the play. Okay. With that being said, you are risking the same as if, let's say an example, you would risk $10,000. So you're still risking the same as other trades, but yet with 50 lots in here, then you are risking $50,000 as an example. So you are risking 50,000 to make, let's say an example, 200, okay? But yet, what happened if on the other trade you were green, you made, let's say an example, $50,000. Now you are risking 50,000 to make 200, but then your risk to reward ratio will not be the same. Okay, so that's why what he learned overall over time, that, you know what, if I'm risking $8,000, $5,000, $100, no matter what the number is, I can risk that for an entire month. Okay, and then what happens, as you are risking that for the entire month, then you are building momentum. Okay, so no matter if you have 10 confirmations or 3 confirmations, you want to make sure that you play with that risk. So that means, that's an example, if you're going here long and you're risking $100, okay, so that's an example, it's 5.6. Okay, this can be 110, 90, 100. Okay, so it can be in the ballpark. Okay, but the ballpark should be within the 100, not more. Okay, and then what happened here, so you can see that it will be 5.6, so you still have 4.4. Okay, so then what you can do, you can have another entry. That's an example here. Stop loss still will be the same place. Okay, let's say here. So now what happens? Okay, you can actually increase that. Okay, increase that. So more or less, you have here risk of 3 and 5.5, let's say. So you have of about 9. Okay, you still can make it a bit smaller, let's call it here. Okay, so like this, you have risk of almost 10. Okay, of a dollar, almost $10. So now you can enter with pretty much more lots. So you can then say, okay, I can enter with 10 lots in this area here, risking that to reward of such a reward. Okay, so you can do that. But if you enter with 100, then your risk should be $1. And NVIDIA moves very fast. So for that to happen, you need to be very accurate, like literally time the bottom. Okay, so that's what you have to understand. And then your risk to reward overall, you will be able to be very profitable. If you do at a minimum 2.5, then you can be wrong 7 times and be right 3 times, okay, and still be profitable. So basically, why we also spoke about that in another video. but just to put that into perspective, if you have $100 that you are risking, okay, $100 that you are risking, okay, and let's an example, you are risking that 10 you are risking that 7 times, it will be $700, right? It will be $700. If you are risking if you are winning 3 times, $250 as 2.5 risk to reward, it will be for you $750. So you are still in the profit. Okay. And the 2.5, it's a minimum. So you can have 3, you can have 4, you can have 5, you can have much more. Why? Because once you have your your risk managed to 1, and you have multiple of lots or contracts or shares, you can have the other ones run because you move your stop loss to average entries. Okay, we will talk about it in another video to discuss that. So now let's start analyzing that on a daily basis. This trend line is not as healthy for us. On a weekly was good. So let's try and see if we can somehow make that cleaner. I feel like this, because it's such a high spike, we don't have a very healthy trend line that goes across. Okay, so let me see here. So that was good. We have potential. That one. Let me just see if going backwards. Yes, so it's hitting here, here, almost here. So this is a very good line. Sorry, yeah. So that's a very good trend line that we have here. Okay. So now that we have this trend line, okay, let's try and figure out what we have. You know what? From this low to this bottom, I mean to this top. Why I want to do from this low to this top is because there is a gap up, and then it just continues. We can do from this low, we can do from many different ones and figure out. But I want to see when it will come here. It might come on Monday to confirmation to go long, or if it's then delaying, then I will want to see from here, because it's a low after this gap up, okay, which is filling this. So for now I will keep that here, and we'll wait to see what happens. Then I want to see here. So we do see here potential. We do see here a potential supply and demand. So let me just see. Let me see. Okay. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, anything that you want us to provide you more as content of analysis of like anything that relates into the trading with futures, with shares, with stocks, feel free to mention in the comments below, and we will be more than happy to provide that to you. In theory, there is that gap as well that we can look at for a fill up. Okay, so it's within that zone, so that can definitely work for us. Okay, because as you can see, it's coming to those areas. It is happening overnight sessions, so an aftermarket, so it's still working, but we want to figure out how we can have another confirmations here that can be based on support and resistance, key level. And because it's on the highs already, what we want to do, we want to try and see if we have that. Let's see. So 1, 2 broke. Expect that. Okay. Expect that. I'm just reviewing to make sure that it's a valid support and resistance. So if and when it comes to this area, I can look for long. Now, what's important, why I started with saying that we will be analyzing NASDAQ and NVIDIA, because what you can see here, okay, that NASDAQ, it's very, very strong weighted by NVIDIA. There is 100 companies that is on there, but because NVIDIA is one of the largest, okay, it's been formatting very similar things as NVIDIA. If you look here, it's continuously made higher highs, okay, for days, okay, and the same thing happened with in NASDAQ. Look, it was firming higher highs for days until it basically was exhausting, and there was some type of confirmation that we had. And also, actually, you can see here the 20-day moving averages touching that exact line, so it's very good for us as an additional confirmation. Oh, the additional confirmation that we had here was no, not that one, was this one, that the RSI shows historically also that every time it comes to the area of the 80s oversold, okay, it has a drop of some sort. Okay, so you can see, let's say here, had a minimal but then continued, okay, continued, and then there was that drop. So we can see that every time we are at the oversold with the RSI, there is a very big drop. So here we was actually already entering into the 80 zone, okay, and we had that very large sell-off. Okay, this is basically what I'm showing, that there is many indicators. I don't look at them anymore. I paid a lot of money for that for really no reason. Um, and I personally, learning from my mentor, I understand that we don't need indicators. All we need is the technical analysis. Okay, so it's very important to do that. So now what happened, that we are looking at this, we have very simple type of analysis, very simple type of understanding of what we are looking for. Okay, and what we can do, we can look from here to this area. Okay, it's approximately 2.5%. Okay, so why we want to understand that is because, and why we're looking at the percentage area, okay, and not at the number, because obviously it's different from that. Like NASDAQ, 2%, 2.5% will be a couple of hundreds, and for NVIDIA, not. So 2.5%, let me see here. So on average, 2.5%, it shows that it will come to this key level for us of supply and demand, okay, of 12 hours. Is it possible? I believe it is, okay. I believe it is very possible. If we are looking, that's on a daily. right? This is also on a daily. Important to make sure that we do the right type of analysis and pay attention to those little details. What we can still see here, so let me just see. NASDAQ, we want to figure out. Oh no, I need to look at the ES 0.5. ES is also dropping and touching certain levels of our support and certain key levels of our areas. Okay, and the same thing happened with the Nasdaq. Touched again our 4 hours as a test and had a massive rejection. Did I trade that? No, I wasn't here, and unfortunately, I didn't. Would I? Of course, because you see here one confirmation, two confirmation, and also had another confirmation on the on the NVIDIA, which was very great for us. Let me see, what was it that we had that confirmation. There was something to do with that low, which was, yes, of this resistance line. That's what we were seeing, that this resistance line was approaching this supply and demand was touching. Okay, and we had the ES also lined up with that. Okay, so all of that happened within 9:30. And also what happened today, it's the Friday that expiring a lot of contracts. Okay, so because they're expiring, it's actually very important to know that, especially at the beginning, there will be a very, very large move. So you can see on most contracts, there were massive moves in terms of volatilities, not only volume, right? So you can see, most of them happen literally at 9:30. Okay, so NASDAQ. Let's look a bit at NASDAQ analysis to understand. I mean, you can see, you can see that number one, this zone was tested multiple of times. So next time it's testing it, most likely will get a big rejection. And if it's here, it might break below 2. Okay, so what we will be able to see, possibly a drop down to here. I don't know, nobody knows where the market will lead us, but that's what we will want to see along the lines. Okay, on the CVS also, I don't want to talk about this at the moment way too much, because I want to focus only on those two analyses. But I'm still holding on that. And why I'm holding? Because I believe, based on my analysis, that it will come to the area of, basically, you see it's rejecting from the 50 moving averages, 50-day moving averages, and I believe that it will come towards the 100. The way it's going to do it, it will be basically around the 66.75 area, and then it will touch, and that's where I will want to sell. This area also as a resistant, so we might see some balance moves here, and then we will see continuation, most likely to here, or a little correction. It will bring the 50-day moving averages higher, test that, and go back to the 100. That's what I believe, based on my analysis. Okay, yeah. So that's on those couple of charts analysis. Again, as I mentioned, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let us know in the comments below. We will be more than happy to answer any of the questions and provide more value and more analysis to do. Also, of course, share with you the different type of lessons, the failures, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that comes. We want to share with you so you know what you need to do and what you don't need to do, and of course be your own student to be able to learn from what we are showing you here. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Avi Aronov, and I will be here to see you in the next video.